Nice and quiet on the roads. 28 degrees. Christmas Day. The sun is attempting to shine through. It's quite overcast. It doesn't feel anywhere like 28 degrees. I just wonder if that temperature will drop back once the bike has been running for a minute or so for the outside temperature. Feels like a nice 24 degrees. And take a look at her Christmas decoration. She's got something going on. It's a Christmas stocking she's got going. There's actually not much breeze today, not much wind. It's quite still. And it feels lovely and cool, yet 28 degrees on the clock. Very strange. We have a predicted forecast of 36 degrees today, so quite a hot one. But I think most people will be staying indoors, really. Not because of the heat, because it's Christmas Day, so most people tend to have their dinners, have a relax, watch films, have a chat, fall asleep. So this is what Christmas morning looks like in an everyday suburb in Western Australia. So we're heading our way over to the West Coast Highway. I think it's actually called the Old Coast Road. Dropping into Trigg and then taking in North Beach and Hillary's, and then maybe turning back around that marker, or just depending if Catherine's had a good ride, if she wants to go a little further, we might just venture a little bit further. It's actually busier than I thought it would be. I suppose people doing their everyday things like going for a walk and a cycle, regardless whether it's Christmas morning. There'll be people travelling to friends and family houses for the day. Catherine staying back for the moment. she's still staying back. I think she's making her way up now. I think she wanted to make sure she was well clear of that cyclist. She must just be on my left side. Yes, she is. She's sitting back. So not much in the way of things to see at the moment. There's no kite surfers. There's not much wind today, so there wouldn't be any kite surfers, I wouldn't have thought. Not many surfers about again. That'll be dependent on the wind. If there's not much wind, there's not much surf to surf on. I'll try and get Catherine ahead of me here. I'll just slow down a little bit. Here we go, she's ahead. But it really is lovely temperatures. Still showing 28 degrees, but it definitely feels like about 24. It is weird how it's feeling cooler. I don't know if Catherine's thinking the same. It feels quite cool here, it's quite actually warm in temperature. I wonder what they'll be waking up to in the UK. Whether it's going to be snow, ice, rain. Quite a few people down there on the beach. I'm not nodding. I nodded, he just looked. That's what I tell myself, I'm not nodding, but I still do. Thinking, if it's too late to nod and they've nodded, you feel a bit impolite. But this bike etiquette seems to be a bit strange. The people who you think might nod sometimes don't. And there's one or two riders you think, well, they won't nod. And they do. So I suppose it's really based on people's personalities, really, and how social they are. So looking like it's going to be a very overcast day today. Yet 36 degrees. Could be quite a humid day as well. Plenty of people eating breakfast. So we're passing Hillary's. Doesn't take long to get up here. It's been really lovely, really nice. We haven't opened our presents as yet. I would have thought we'll be opening them after our Christmas lunch. Seems to be the tradition I've got used to, being associated with the Richardson household. Whereas I suppose when you're kids you get opening your presents, don't you? But when we were kids, what few presents we did have, we'd have opened in the morning. In fact, my brother, Christmas Eve, once my mother had gone to bed, he'd be trying to find a present to open, the less discreet one, thinking our mum wouldn't know. She always knew. Yeah, so we're going all the way around and back down, so Catherine's obviously happy enough just to ride to this point. We're not in communications, that's why I haven't asked her if she wanted to go further. We had pre-planned to come up to this point and then turn back. But whilst I suppose it's still quite cool, it's a pleasant ride. Maybe another hour it'll start to heat up, but I'd have liked to go maybe a little bit further. So my mum got to thinking, well, she knew Andrew couldn't stop his temptation on opening Christmas presents when he shouldn't be. So she used to hide them, I think, until Christmas morning, and then she'd obviously get up early whilst me and my brother were still in bed. And then, yeah, she'd put the presents out then. Just like how he'd get onto the marzipan. My mum would bake a Christmas cake, pudding. It would have been a cake actually, and then she'd place on the top layer the marzipan. The marzipan I don't think's cheap. I think it's quite an expensive luxury really for a Christmas cake. And he'd tuck into it. My mum would always plan ahead and buy little bits in preparation for Christmas, so she'd each week add a few things to her larder for Christmas. Well, that was no good, because then once Andy got wind of sight of the marzipan, he was into it, which obviously caused annoyance to my mum. And there's many times that she'd tell us to, well, I wasn't particularly too bothered for marzipan, I don't mind it, but Andy was like addicted to it. But I did actually quite like the glazed cherries. I've always liked cherries. So as a temptation, you see, Andy be into the marzipan, then dig out the glazed cherries and say, here, have one or two of these. So it always draw me into the whole equation, you see, knowing full well, if he got caught, he'd straight away dob me into it and say, then add the cherries. What are big brothers for, eh? So yeah, she'd have to try and lock things away, hide things from two young, curious boys given in to temptation. Fond memories though. Just feeling a little bit warmer now. That wind is quite warm. Again, a little bit of a breeze, a little wind. Obviously magnified once you're travelling through it on a motorcycle. It's still reading as 28 degrees. So there's always a wind where when you're riding up, it's behind you, and then as you're coming down south, it's meeting you. But it really is nice this morning. Actually haven't seen too many Christmas decorations outside the houses. Which isn't such a bad thing. Little bit of blue sky, but majority of cloud. Buses are running. Someone's getting their barbecue going. I could smell the barbecue, the coals. And that's quite a traditional thing, is to have a barbecue on the go for Christmas Day. Getting the snags on there. And the whole shrimp barbie thing is a made up thing really. Aussies don't tend to do that. They do like prawns, and they will have prawns for lunch, so maybe as a starter, or just part of a platter or something like that, but they wouldn't tend to normally put prawns on the barbie as such, but people will do. Fly inside the visor, but it's been a nice ride out. We've done this now so many times, going up this coastline and back. I suppose it's an old favourite. Actually double demerits. It's been double demerits since I think it was over last Friday actually, and we're on Wednesday. So if you get caught speeding, then it's double the demerit points if it's actually accrued them. So sometimes I think it's up to 3 kilometers an hour, there's no demerit points, you just get a fine. I think if it's 3 or more over, that's when you do get at least a 3 demerit point. And obviously the more speed you've been picking up, the higher number of demerit point you'll be picking up as well. So people who have not got much left on their record for demerit points, they could be in trouble. Thankfully me and Catherine don't have any demerit points. We've never picked up any points here in Australia in all the time we've been here, so that's good. So we're 70 along here until we hit this 60 marker. So Catherine's had her music on. I've actually not noticed whether she's been doing a bit of a jig like she does when she's on a bike. She probably has been, I've just not noticed. Okay, Catherine's gone. So depending on the lights here, we may catch Catherine back up again. Depends if she's gone straight through and stayed on this road, Cowinup Road. it's been a constant 28 degrees all the way through. 10% chance of rain today. Into the hills, they reckon, either late afternoon or early evening. So we won't experience any rain where we are. Highly unlikely. But very nice not to be having a 40-degree day. We can hopefully enjoy our festivities without being overly too warm. I've got the aircon though, just in case. So a very pleasant ride out coming to an end. It's been good. Really enjoyed that. Some excellent riding by Catherine as per usual. Let's see if she does a jig. That was just for the cameras, was that?